Welcome back to Edgy Reviews. So one thing that people were curious about was the Opinel. And just in skill crafting and things like that versus the cold steel fin wolf. So the Opinel is like a $9 or $10 knife, and this is a $29 knife. I'd say a little bit more usable knife here than this, but and better lockup for sure with the Triad-lock. But other than that, just using them out in the field. And so I thought I would do a couple things. I'll go through and make just a quick feather stick, because that's what everybody does with knives, right? They feather stick everything. Clear this off. Piece of elm again. I'll make a quick feather stick, and then we'll do some notches, and we'll just see how a $29 knife compares to a $9 knife. It's all about angles with any knife that you use. You know, you could have a sharp piece of glass, honestly, and you can feather stick with a sharp piece of glass. You don't need to have a knife, but if you have a knife, it's not that one kind of knife, in my opinion, feather sticks better than another. It's just that you know that angle better, and so you're able to produce personally better feather sticks with that angle. Lately, I kind of prefer Scandi grinds. Just the angle that I've been used to for now a couple years, and you know, you can take some really big bites out of that, but that's not to say that the Opinel can't do that. So there's one, and I'll make a feather stick with the Opinel, and then we'll compare feather sticks, and then I'll do some notches. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on this one, just enough to get a rough idea. It just surprises me how well this elm can actually feather, just for how twisty the wood is. The grain is not a straight grain at all. It's just really odd that the feathers even turn out at all. You know, this is the kind of wood that you hit with a maul like 9 or 10 times and it just does not split apart. Holds together to the very last. I can tell I'm a little out of practice with the flat grind for feather sticks. But the knife does bite in. You know, may not make them as curly and as nice looking, but the knife still bites in. Grab this other one. Just because I know people will ask, the hammock is a snug pack. It's an old one. Still works great. So here was the feather stick from the fin wolf. Hopefully you can see that all right. That's so starting with some finer curls and then go up to bigger curls. That's really easy for me to control. Wasn't hard at all. Doesn't hurt my hand, not even a little bit, you know. And here's the Opinel. Started off with some small curls, if you can see those, really small curls, and worked up to some bigger ones. I'm out of practice with it, but obviously it works just fine. That was not hard at all. Let's do a couple notches. Keep with the same kind of wood. Just a regular old notch for a tent stake. I always feel like I have my head on a swivel here at the spot that I'm at. I got a big fire going and stuff, and I'm safe, I'm sure, but I once had a wolf charge me here right where I'm sitting. I was coyote calling in the middle of the day, and I was actually just practicing coyote calls because I didn't want to annoy anybody inside. And I heard one bark, and I thought it was a coyote. And I heard something coming through the weeds out this way through the woods, and it was a big timber wolf. and he came within about 15 yards of me and got a good look at me, and he ran away. But man, those things are huge. Timberwolves here in Minnesota are no joke at all. So as you can see, the Opinel has no problem getting some good bites into the wood, and this is really sharp. It's not dull. Don't have any dull tools. Those are the ones that cut you and hurt you. Let's see. So the 30-second tent stake, or 1 minute tent stake, or whatever. There's the notch. That was super easy. It wasn't super comfortable though. I will say the spine of the Opinel is really thin, and it's pretty sharp, which I love for most things. But when you're pushing into it, one thing that makes me a little nervous is that this does not lock up. So when you really push, sometimes if you slip or you go the wrong way, I feel like, I don't know, people have cut themselves with these things pretty bad because they take a nice edge. But it was certainly doable, and that's a $9 knife. I mean, that's super cheap, and it made a perfectly usable tool. I know a lot of backpackers like those things. All right. Make a notch with the fin wolf. Let's see. I'll tell you one thing, for straight presses into the wood, the Opinel, even though it's got that thinner spine, it definitely sinks in deeper because of the flat grind. The Scandi is more of a wedge when you get down in there. And I don't know that this fin wolf is a true Scandi. The angle is going to be different than a Mora, but when you start biting into the wood and you want to remove wood, just making this notch, like I'm already done. I'm already twice as far with that notch with the fin wolf. And removing material, I don't know. I think the fin wolf has got a better bite overall. Putting the same amount of effort in it. There's the 30-second notch, and yeah, I'm gonna have to say the fin wolf is definitely a better candidate for me. Is it worth the extra 10-15 bucks? Well, you have to decide if you use a knife a lot, if you care for it or not. You know, for me, just having the Triad-lock and a pocket clip, that's worth it. I actually prefer the handle thickness of the Opinel. It's kind of got a Coke bottle thing going on. That's better for my hand overall, but just the usability of the fin wolf, it's worth it to me. So you'll have to make up your mind, but either one is a pretty good candidate for an outdoors folder. Take a look at them. This is Edge Reviews. Thanks for stopping in.